COVID-19 in Arizona. In Pima County, there have been 12,697 confirmed cases and 360 deaths. Coming up next on Eye on the Ball with Steve and Jay, it's Arizona Wildcats All-American and 1997 national champion Mike Bibby. This is 1030, The Voice.
The following is a paid program, and the host is solely responsible for its content. Opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of KVOI or its sponsors.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Eye on the Ball. I'm Steve Rivera alongside Jay Gonzales, and you're listening to 1030 The Voice. Welcome to Thursday, Jay. You've been paying attention to the people in the bubble, the NBA bubble, and what they're taking in and blah blah. And some of them complaining that they don't have accommodations or blah blah blah. What would you take into your quarantine? Your must-have.
My must-have. Well, my phone and my iPad. Okay, I just need stuff to do. Whether I'm watching a movie,
you're
playing
not a game
games.
player.
I do things like play, spades and solitaire and stuff like that. But, I do spend a lot of time on my iPad just, going through stuff. That's where I figure out what's going on in the world, right? So I would definitely have to have that. But, beyond that, I think I just need, I don't know. I think I'd be bouncing off the walls.
It would be tough, yeah.
It'd be hard.
They're there for a few months, right? A couple months?
Yeah, they're going to be there for a while. And so, I guess I'd want to bring my wife.
That ain't happening. Good answer, but that ain't happening.
I don't think she's going to want to come, but I'd certainly want to bring her. But I think I just have to have ways to keep my mind stimulated. I'm one of those guys that
crazy there.
I hate silence. I hate being in a room and in an office that's silent.
Oh, I love it.
And the thing about that is my wife and I are complete opposites on that.
Oh, I love it.
And right now, when we're both working at home, it's they're
sure.
She loves it quiet. I love noise, so
Who's the winner of that?
She is. I tend to keep my headphones on, and I'll have something on my iPad or on my computer, whether it's a television program, a streaming movie, or just noise. Something in the background all the time. I'm that kind of a guy.
I saw that Luke Walton took about 7 pounds of coffee because
I saw that. Well, coffee would be a thing that would be very important
I'm not a
to
coffee
me.
drinker.
I'm a coffee guy. I'm a coffee guy in the morning. 2 or 3 cups in the morning. I got to have it. And
I don't like the way it tastes. It just tastes weird.
Oh, I love it. So, just something like that. I just have to be able, and I think I just have to be able to get out and walk around.
Yeah. Well, you don't get over the bubble line.
Well, don't step over the line.
Are we ragging? Are we calling that written snitch line?
The snitch line. Yeah.
Hey, Gonzales is out, man.
The Doc Rivers says he's going to use it until there's no teams left.
Right. I'm just hoping to have the ID channel on TV. I can watch that 24 hours.
Oh, you and me.
Watch it?
I'm a murder show watcher all day.
That's exactly.
I was a police reporter, so
you've seen a lot of stuff.
I saw a lot of that stuff in real life. Plus, with two cops in the family, all that stuff is fascinating to me. In fact,
me too.
my family, I drive them a little nuts because they'll walk in a room and Dateline or 48 Hours or 2020, one of those is on, and I've seen some of these over and over and over again. One can be 10 seconds into it, and I know who did it.
Yeah, so. I know. I watch him too. I watch him religiously. Let's get to some sports. We have a great show, a great guest today, Mike Bibby. He's a bit mercurial, so I'm hoping that he answers his phone when we call him. I talked to him today, and he said he'd come on. We've been trying to reach him for a couple days, and I hope he stays with us for 15 minutes.
Okay, I'm interested to talk to him. I almost pulled my 97 golf shirt, 97 NCAA championship golf shirt that I bought in Indianapolis when I was at that Final Four.
What else do you have?
It's in the back of my closet.
What else?
That's the only thing I have left. Well, no, I have the seat pads that were on the seats in the arena.
Yeah.
I still have 2 of those left. But that's it. I did make a little shrine thing for my son Adam. I have a picture of us as a group outside the arena. I have the NCAA. I have the Final Four pin, and then the ticket signed by John Wood, and I put that all in a frame.
He had to be about 4?
He was 3 years old, not quite 3 years old.
Oh, well.
He doesn't remember it.
Yeah, of course.
He doesn't.
Hell, I don't either. I worked too hard.
He was not quite 4. He was 3 and change. He was a couple months short of 4 years old.
It was a blur to me.
Yeah. He says he has like little visions of it, but doesn't really remember being at the game.
Yeah, like the impossible dream that they pulled off.
Right. So he's wanted to go to a Final Four since then. His heart was broken the year that they lost to Kansas in the Elite Eight.
2003.
I think 2003.
2013. 2003 it was
Yeah.
Luke Walton
Right, that
and
group.
those guys.
They lost in the Elite Eight, and we had tickets, we had flights, we were ready to go.
They were,
and they didn't win the game. That may have been his most heartbreaking sports day ever.
Wow. Well, it was in Anaheim too.
Yeah,
it was Anaheim.
Well, but the Final Four was going to be in San Antonio.
Yeah.
That
No,
year.
they had lost, and that's a great place. The best place to have.
We were going. We were locked and loaded and ready to go.
Yeah.
I think he still hates that.
Salim had a bad game that day, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's talk real quick about UA football. I think they finally got a local connection to join the team.
Kid. Yeah, Steve Rocker, and it's I saw a quick thing. He's already scored a touchdown at Arizona State.
I saw that.
He got to play during the halftime when the Tucson youth football teams come and play at halftime, and so good for him. Good to have a local kid. We'll be rooting for him.
Mm-hmm.
You hope he does well.
It's been a long dry spot for them because of Cam Densman was one, then he left.
Right,
there's been a couple of others. Well, the kid that was at Cienega, who's now one of the better receivers.
Right, Jamari Joyner.
Jamari Joyner.
Yeah.
So there's a couple.
You root for those guys.
Yeah.
You like it when a guy stays. You feel like he's more dug in than some, maybe some other guys that come around, and you just hope those guys can do well. Kadeem Carey, man, the guy, by the time the guy left, he was a legend, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, right. We got to get him on the show. He had his sister.
We had his sister.
He had his sister on the show.
I think she can beat him up, don't you?
Yeah, I would try. Let me
put it this way. I think it'd be a fair fight.
I know she could beat me up, so I'm leaving that one alone. So that's cool. They got Stevie Rocker, and then you said you watched the Randy Robbins, Dr. Robbins press conference.
Yes, and there's some really interesting stuff came out. It was a press conference of the reentry task force, but it was Dr. Robbins and Dr. Carmona, and I thought there was some really interesting stuff that I hadn't really heard before in terms of how they're doing testing and stuff for students, which is good, and for students and staff, which is obviously going to impact how they do testing for athletes. But apparently there's an antigen test that you can get results within an hour. Now, it's a little less reliable than the other tests, but you also know much faster.
Yeah.
So basically what they're saying is that for students that want to come in, who want to live in a dorm on campus, they come to campus. There's going to be a day, and they're going to set it up apparently at McHale Center. There's going to be a day. You come, you get a test within a couple of hours. You know if you can move into a dorm, and if you test positive, you can't move into a dorm.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of thing, I think, is going to play into what they're doing sports wise and stuff like that. But I thought it was really interesting. I'm sure there'll be some news reports out about it. It was a really informative press conference, but there were just some really other interesting points. Because somebody brought up the idea, how important it is for them to have classes, to not just go online and not lose. And Dr. Robbins said, we're not doing this for the money. We're not trying to keep the school open for the money, but it's still a part of it because he said the U of A is the largest employer in Tucson. It can't, for the overall good of the economy, it also can't go under. So, but they said they're not going to sacrifice the health and well-being of everybody.
Sure.
To keep it open. I thought that was an interesting point of view.
Well, you have a daughter, and I would miss school if I wouldn't be able to physically go to school.
Right. Kids do. They're going to want to go to school, but there's going to be some who don't. My daughter really doesn't want. She's trying to figure out if she can take all online classes. There's a lot more to this. Maybe we'll talk about this after we've had Mike Bibby on. But I'm anxious to talk to Mike Bibby. This is going to be interesting.
Okay, let's take a quick break here. I'm Steve Rivera alongside Jay Gonzales here on 1030 The Voice. We'll be right back.
Trusted local news and talk. 1030 The Voice.
There's a place in our house.
For 70 years, Benjamin Supply has been keeping Tucson flowing. Hygiene is our business. We help you achieve extreme clean. Minimize germ spreading with a hands-free sensor faucet. Forget the paper panic with a washlet seat. And speaking of waterworks, a big thanks to plumbers for their essential efforts during this health crisis. Shop our downtown showroom by appointment. Call us at 777-7000 or see all the products online at benjaminsupply.com.
Thanks to Benjamin Plumbing Supply.
The Camille Rivas Rutherford with Coldwell Banker Realty has been one of the top producing real estate agents in Tucson, Oro Valley, Marana, and Vail for more than 20 years. Let her help you find your dream home in southern Arizona. Her passion and enthusiasm for real estate has helped her become one of the most respected and trusted realtors in the area. And she was recently named a recipient of Coldwell Banker's 2019 International President's Circle Award. Camille's approach to sales and marketing and selling or buying a home is second to none. Give her a call at 520-250-5192.
It's those guys from Tucson Appliance Company, the best appliance company in Tucson.
For the month of July, we're going to donate 2% of our sales to a local charity from in-stock purchases.
Come shop at our store and work with our amazing sales team.
Dustin, David, Ryan, Alex, me, and Peter.
You can choose from a list of local charities for us to donate to.
The only way we can give back is if you shop local. Only at Tucson Appliance, where our low price is your priority.
Tipping Point with Zach Yentzer. Weekday mornings from 9 to 10.
Tucson, join us for a full Friday as we kick off with Black's Friday, BLAX, an initiative to highlight Black-owned businesses in Tucson. Then we'll talk with Family Housing Resources about the upcoming eviction crisis in the coming week or so in Tucson, Arizona. We'll talk workforce pivots with Devin Underwood and Financial Friday with the team from Mass Mutual. You don't want to miss it. Tune in, 10:30 The Voice at 9. See you there.
This is The Voice, 1030, Tucson's trusted news and talk.
You're killing me with that music here. Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera alongside Jay Gonzales. And now on the phone I have one of my best guys, Mike Bibby from the 97 championship. What a fantastic career he had at U of A. Mike, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Steve?
Fine, thank you. Hey, what's this 5 tournament? You must miss competition. You're going to get back to playing.
I always love playing basketball. Basketball is the love of my life, and just to get out there and play with guys that play with Sacramento and play with some of the teams that I played against. It's going to be fun. Just to when nothing's going on right now, and just give people basketball to watch.
Mike, this is Jay Gonzales. We never had a chance to meet, but. When I see 5 guys on the roster, is that enough guys? Are you guys in pretty good shape so that 5 guys is plenty to make it through games and that many games in such a short period of time?
I think so. It's a 3-on-3 tournament, so we'll have subs. Only 3 people will be in the game at a time. So we'll have subs. I think we'll be able to do. I think everybody's professional, and we'll get. If you need a sub, call for a sub. There's
you raise your hand, give me a blow, right?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
What have you had to do to get ready for this?
Just the same thing. You go in there, basketball, shoot. It's kind of like riding a bike, like everybody says. And just go in there, shoot. I worked out with the guys for the past couple weeks and shots. And I'm not doing everything that the guys are doing, but just a little bit something just got to get me back in that mold of playing basketball again.
What's testing like? Because everyone's talking about testing.
I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I think they're going to try to do it like the NBA and just keep a bubble so that once you're there, no one can come in or go out, and just try to keep it safe that way.
You must be you're still in great shape. I see you every now and again. Still got those big upper body, and you're still putting up shots and all that stuff, right? I assume?
Yeah, but you can be in all the shape. You can look good all you want, but you run a little bit. That's always been my problem. So we'll see what happens. When we get out there. I've been working a little bit, but I'm going to try to kill myself to try to get in shape for a few games. But I think I'm ready. I've
never looked good in my life, so I don't have any clue what you're talking about.
So Mike, in something like this, it's supposed to be fun, right? And so you got all these guys, and I'm assuming most, if not all, of these guys and stuff like that. How much fun do you try and have with it? How much rivalry do you have with it? You guys putting any money on each other? What?
It's gonna be competitive for sure. All these guys play in the NBA at some point, and it's gonna be competitive. But you still have to see how it's gonna be because nobody's been in the bubble as far as these guys that are playing. So we gotta see how it is. See if there's no one around, and they might be able to lift weights together, work out together. So we got to see what happens when we get there.
Last year, I think the last few years, you played on the 3v3, right? The big games in the summer. Salim was part of your team last year.
Who?
Salim Stoudemire.
He wasn't part of my team. He played on the three-headed monster.
Okay.
So he was in there, but he wasn't on my team. No.
Okay. But you guys played. How was that? And is this kind of similar?
Like I said, I don't know until we get there. It's going to be it's a different situation as far as the quarantine and all that stuff. So, like the main thing with the Big Three was the camaraderie with everybody and being able to hang out with everybody all weekend and do all that stuff is going to be different. I'm going to be here for 10 days, and like I said, we got to see what happens. And no one's been in the quarantine or the bubble yet, so we got to see how it goes.
So what makes a good 3-on-3 team? I mean, is it all shooters? Do you have to have somebody to play down inside? I mean, what's the makeup of a good team?
It depends. It really depends on what you're looking for. To where there's not going to be really any help, so you got to have some good one-on-one guys, some guys that can rebound the ball, and some guys that can shoot. I think the main thing is having guys that can shoot and knock down open jumpers. I'm
sure they didn't have to convince you to do this.
No, like I said, I love basketball, and there's nothing going on right now, and there's nothing. I've been training a lot of people at my house, but the main thing is I have 10 open days, so I want to go try to have fun with some of the guys that I grew up playing with.
You must miss coaching. I hope to see you back in it.
I do. Like I said, there's guys that come over at my house. I got a gym at my house, so there's guys, the kids, little people that come over my house, and I train every day just to try to teach these people the right way to play basketball and have fun at the same time. So I have guys that I've coached 10, 15 years ago that still come over and work out of my house and train and still call me Coach Mike and stuff like that. So it's a big deal.
So when you're going to coach somebody like that, say somebody approaches you and said, Coach, I'd like to show me your thing. What are the things you're looking for? And I'm talking about a high school kid. I mean, what are you trying to instill in a kid?
I'm not looking for anything. My thing is to try to make them a better player.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
To do with what I want. I just want you to come in. I'm not going to try to change anything. Just try to see what you need, what I think you need help with, and I'm going to try to push you in that right direction.
Is there any? But is there kind of a typical kid, that comes in, or is everybody a little different?
No, we work kids from 8, 9 years old to professional players. So it doesn't matter what your kid. Everybody has to be learning something. Like me coaching, and I'm still learning stuff when I was coaching, from people and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter how old you are or how much you know. You come in, there's always people that can learn. And it's just little stuff. And like I said, I have 8-year-olds to professional kids that I train. I call them kids because I'm old now, so I call them kids. But my main thing is just try to, if I see something, just watch them and, let them get a workout and try to teach them the right way. I'm not the type of guy that'll come here and try to change everything that you're doing. So I just try to key and see little things and just try to change little things. We got the top high school kids that come in here, G League players, NBA players, elementary school kids. So my main thing is just trying to make sure that you learn the right stuff.
Sure, you're like 43 years old. You're still fit. Yeah,
42,
right.
42.
You are so old. So old.
Sorry, I gave you one more year.
So old.
Yeah, I need that 1 year, Steve. I need it.
I know. Hey, so does it feel like 23 years ago you guys pulled this baby off?
It feels like a long time ago. I don't know if it say 23 years, but it feels like a long time ago.
How was that magical ride? In fact, I've always said you guys won the tournament in the first round. You guys were down by 10 with a few minutes left, and you guys pulled it off, and then the rest seemed easy. Or not easy, but,
We got high at the right time. And, those first 2 games that we had, we almost lost.
Yeah.
And, like I said, it's the games that you play, you got to get high at the right time. I think we got high at the right time.
Did a lot of people make too much of it? I don't know. You were a freshman. You hit those big shots against Kansas. Oh, here's this freshman. He's calm under pressure and stuff like that. Or did you kind of just play your game and not worry about stuff like that?
I played my game, but, Coach Olsen was a big factor for me. And he, the first couple of games, I can't remember if it was after the first game or halftime of the first game, but he told me, go out there and be aggressive. I think I was kind of playing – to the older guys and just letting the guy, play in the background like I did kind of during the season. Mm-hmm. And he always told me, go out there and be aggressive. I need you to be aggressive. And after that, I think I just was being more aggressive than what he told me. I came in not wanting to step on any toes. That's the kind of kid I was, and just try to, I had juniors, a lot of juniors, and they were good teams before I got there. So I came in not wanting to step on any toes, and Coach Olson just told me, Mike, be aggressive. We need you to be aggressive. So,
Mike, when you think about the tournament and that run, what was there ever a time that you were just kind of like pinching yourself, wondering, what am I doing here? I've seen this thing growing up. I've loved basketball all my life. And to sit there and think, I'm in the middle of, I'm at a Final Four now. We have a chance to win a Final Four. What was going through your head as a, what were you, 18, 19 years old?
I think I was 18 years old. Nothing was really going through my head. That's just the type of person I was. I was always, that's what I was, I think, born to do, is just play basketball. I just loved playing basketball. Regardless of the outcome, I had fun doing it. And, ever since I was a little kid and I played basketball, as soon as the game was done, I want McDonald's. I'm going to go to McDonald's. So that was my main thing. My main thing was just, I just love playing basketball. And it wasn't a job to me. It was just something that I loved doing.
It's funny because I was going to mention McDonald's. That was kind of the story, because you and the guys would got to go to McDonald's, got to go to San Antonio or wherever. After we won this championship, I went to Steak and Shake. It was, everybody, let's go, have fun. I want to go Steak and Shake and give me a cheeseburger and some French fries. You and Urkel. Was Urkel at the time, I think.
Yeah, he was there. We played video games with him before the championship. He was there.
Right. Hey, do you want to talk about the year after? You guys had this great team, and all of a sudden just went dead.
I didn't go dead. I think we had a good run. We had a good season. I think it was a fluke that we lost in Southern California. I still remember how that ball went in the basket. Hit the bottom of the basket, rolled in. I still remember that. There was a chance for us to be one of the greatest, Pac-10 teams of all time. We lost one game, and it just didn't happen. Like I said, you got to get hot at the right time. We just hit a stump. We weren't as hot as the season before. Some guy, we missed shots. We didn't play good against the Utah team.
Mike, I lost money on you guys in that Utah game. Okay, I think you need to know that.
Well, I bet you should have made some up for the year before then when we won.
You know what, Mike? I didn't, because you guys were so bad in the regular season. I didn't put any money on you.
We were bad.
I have a friend.
We made the tournament.
Yeah, you'll laugh at this. I have a friend who every year in his entire life would pick Arizona to win the championship, except that year. He didn't pick you guys that year. He laid off you guys, and then you guys went and won it. We've never let him forget that.
Yeah, that's bad luck. That's bad business for him then.
So I had Phil Johnson on here, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 months ago, talked about that rant he had in San Francisco after you guys lost the 2. How was that rant?
Say it again, Steve?
His rant in San Francisco after you lost to Cal and Stanford, throwing stuff in the locker room, I think it was.
I can't even tell you what happened, Steve. I don't even remember that.
Oh, good. You tuned it out.
Probably a good idea.
That's, like you said, it's 23 years ago. I can barely remember yesterday. So,
welcome to my world, man. Welcome to my world.
Hey, wait until you can't remember what you had for lunch the day before, okay? That's coming up.
But like I said, we didn't even expect to make the tournament. And, for us to get a number 4 seed, that was a big deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, we were in a tough conference, and that's what you get playing in a tough conference. So,
right. Mike,
we were lucky, I guess.
Thanks a bunch for joining us. Be well this weekend in Vegas.
Yeah, be well. I appreciate you coming on, Mike, and have fun this weekend.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, let's take a quick break here on 1030 The Voice.
CBS News at the top and bottom of every hour. 1030 The Voice, Tucson's trusted local news and talk.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. With not much to do amid the pandemic, people keep signing up for Netflix. It added 10 million subscribers in the second quarter, beating estimates, but it says those gains will limit future growth, sending its shares lower in late trading. Americans continue to file claims for unemployment benefits in huge numbers. The government says 1.3 million claims were filed last week, more than expected, and down just slightly from the week before. The stagnant claims data may signal a slowdown in the job market recovery, and that put the brakes on a two-day Wall Street rally. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 135, the S&P 500 fell 11, the Nasdaq lost 77. Siri, Alexa, the European Union is coming for you. Voice assistants are at the center of a sweeping European Commission antitrust probe into the so-called Internet of Things. The investigation will also cover connected appliances and more. Larry Kofsky, Bloomberg Radio.
CBS News Update. The battle over mask wearing continues as the COVID outbreak accelerates. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards defends his mask mandate.
Those measures that are contained in that order are necessary to protect public safety and promote the welfare of the people of Louisiana.
CBS's Janet Shamlian says the situation in Texas is dire.
Texas recorded its highest death toll today since the pandemic started, 129. Tonight, testing centers like this one are jammed, and we are hearing sobering stories from the crisis in emergency rooms, dwindling ventilators, few beds, and doctors burying friends.
Even states that had tamped down the virus are seeing new spikes in cases. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy.
Rate of transmission has now gone back up to 1-to-1, meaning that if you're infected, you are likely to infect one other person in your midst. We got to get that number back down below 1.
CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Being named the 2020 El Tour de Tucson dedication recipient was such an honor. I had been a part of El Tour in the past, and I know about some of these amazing names that have been dedication recipients in the past, but it was an honor to be chosen for that, not only for me, but for my organization that supports people with disabilities.
I've met so many people through the riding and through El Tour that are now some of my closest and dearest friends.
One of the things that makes El Tour, so safe and so well ran is all the law enforcement that gets involved, blocking up the roads. My favorite part of the course, on the newer course, was the backside of Pistol Hill.
I think what's amazing about El Tour is there's something for everyone's ability level. It includes the opportunity to be out there. You can even do a 1-miler. You can do something at home if you're limited to being indoors. That's what's great about it, is all abilities are encouraged. It's very inclusive.
These days, most families are concerned with having the right insurance coverage. Protecting your family, home, auto, and other valuable possessions can be challenging and sometimes expensive. Crest Insurance gives you flexible options and solutions while saving you money. Insurance is not one size fits all, and at Crest, we find the coverage that's best for you and your family. Visit us online at www.crestins.com or call us toll free at 888-881-5765.
It's a great way to start your day. Hi, it's Hugh Hewitt. Join me weekday mornings for the Hugh Hewitt Show, 10 to noon weekdays on 1030 The Voice. I'll have the news you must have, the analysis you need, great interviews with today's top newsmakers, and we'll toss in a great healthy dose of good humor and compelling conversation to get you going. Let's start the day together with the Hugh Hewitt Show.
News from inside the Beltway. The Hugh Hewitt Show. Weekday mornings from 10 to noon on 1030 The Voice. Trusted local news and talk.
Tucson's source for trusted news and talk. 1030 The Voice.
Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera alongside Jay Gonzales. That was a little fun.
That was a lot of fun. It was great to talk to Mike for the first time. Well, first off, I did do his stats for a couple of years, and
he never said a word.
The guy was just never, he just quiet and just did, went about his work, and that I really appreciated that about him, because that, you want guys to be, have a lot of enthusiasm and stuff like that. But you could tell Mike was focused, he was business. And it showed in the way he played and the way he just did his business. I mean, I know Miles Simon won the MVP of the Final Four of the NCAA.
There's
the whole tournament.
There. There's got to be a but there.
Well, let me put it this way. I think that could have happened without Miles Simon, but it couldn't have happened without Mike Bibby.
Yeah, and it could have easily gone to Bibby as well. He had a fantastic run in that
that North Carolina game, he just went off.
Yeah.
And he was just throwing stuff in from everywhere.
Right. He couldn't miss. In fact, I would take him as the best shooter on that team at that time.
At that time. He actually was. I mean, yes, Miles was and not to diminish what he did. I mean, he had a great tournament, well deserved. But like I said, I think if you were to say, pull one of those guys off the team, and which way do they have a better chance? I'm gonna say Mike Bibby's got to be on that team.
And he was a freshman, 18 years old, unflappable.
Well, you know, and the visual that I have of that is when he was going up to shoot free throws in the championship game. And I mean, and that game, I mean, let people forget that game went into overtime.
Yeah.
You know, and he was walking to the free throw line. He looked as calm as could be, and he was making his free throws and just running the team like he was playing in the playground.
So you were there?
I was there.
You said we talked about that earlier. What was your most memorable moment being a fan?
You know, just realizing at the end of the game that Arizona was actually going to win the game.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, first of all, we had no business going. When I say we had no business, I'm saying my family. You know, we didn't go, you know, to other we didn't go in '94, you know, to the Final Four. And why we chose to go to this one when they were a number 4 seed, had no business winning the championship, but I thought something could happen, and we went, and we spent a fortune to go. You know, I had 2 little kids.
It was in Indy.
It was in Indianapolis. You know, my son Adam was, you know, going on 4, and my daughter Alana, she was less than a year old, and she was about to turn a year old. And you know, if you wanted,
did the whole family?
The whole family went, and a bunch of us went. We took my sister so she could babysit my daughter, you know, in the hotel room. Then we ended up getting tickets for them so they could go to the championship game. But what I remember was coming to the end of the game and all of a sudden realizing they're going to win the championship.
Right.
And this is something that I've been watching, and I never put Arizona in a position to win it. You know, this thing that I've been seeing on TV since I was a kid, you know, watching all those UCLA teams that won the national championships and then everybody else who won. I'm thinking Arizona is actually going to win this, and the realization of that.
I felt that after they beat Kansas, because they beat the best team in the country at the time. They had lost 1 game. Bibby had a big deal on that because he was at the free throw line a lot, and you're thinking they got a chance.
Right. Well, it was the Kansas game that made us start thinking about going. I remember that Sunday game. They were playing Providence. That game went into
overtime.
Double overtime or just overtime?
Just overtime.
It went into overtime, but we had spent the day trying to figure out how to get tickets, how to, you know, and by the end of that game, everything was in place, and all we had to do was pull the trigger and pay the money.
Yeah.
And we were going. And we took a whole party. We took a bunch of people. My old friend Ray Martinez, who worked in the athletic department, and his son Danny, who's working in the athletic department now, Adam, my daughter, my wife. Ray's mom went so she could babysit, you know, because they had, you know, the little kids, and, you know, we wanted to be able to go do stuff outside of the games.
Sure, because that's when you go for it.
Right. You know, we you know, I had, like I said, Adam was 3 and Alana was less than a year old. They went to the post-game party at the U of A party. We had them out till 4 o'clock in the morning.
At the hotel?
At the hotel.
It smelled like beer. I know.
It was awful. There's a really funny picture of the 2 of them just passed out in the bed afterwards, and we slept for about an hour before we had to get on the plane. And head out Tuesday morning.
I think that was the city went. Well, we know the city went crazy.
Yeah, but as you can tell, it was a great experience for us and our whole family to be a part of that, and to be able to say all these years later, we were there.
Yeah, no question, and he was a big part of it. I always liked talking to Mike. The year after the first championship year, I just happened to sit next to him in a plane. They flew commercial. I sat next to him because that's where my seat put, and we just started talking, and it became this kind of friend thing, and it's kind of lasted this long. He's a tourist guy. He's like a couple days after my birthday, and he's just kind of like a steady dude.
Yeah,
unflapped. And then he had this great NBA career.
Yeah,
with the Sacramento Kings.
But I kind of felt like he was. You knew he would, because he was he had just the kind of mentality to make it for a long time in the league.
And he wasn't. You know, you've seen guards here, and they kind of just established. It was already point guard. They kind of really established it. Him and Miles and JT and these Michael Dickerson and these guys. But he was just nonchalant. He didn't have that great athletic ability. He just made good decisions.
Right. Well, when you think of this reputation as point guard, and you put a face to it, it's his face. It's his face.
Right.
He's the one.
Right.
But I was at that Elite Eight game that they lost to Utah. It was in Anaheim, and we went to that regional. They had a great time. They beat Maryland on the first game, and we thought, oh, they're going to the Final Four again.
They had already beat Utah that earlier in the year.
That could rank as one of the most stunning losses by any Arizona team.
I don't
any
disagree.
Sport, any team was that one. Not just the fact that they lost, but how they lost.
It's probably number 2. Number 1, Chicago.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that.
That was a disaster.
But I watched that and just. Yes, you're right. You're probably right.
3 could be Vegas, 89.
89. I was there for that one. That one was stunning.
Yeah.
The one that it was stunning, but more than that, it stung.
The 89 one.
The 89.
Yeah. Sean's final year.
You felt bad for those guys. It hurt.
They were number 1 in the country.
You felt bad. There's that lasting picture that citizen photographer Clarence can't remember his last name.
Clarence
took of Elliott hugging his mom in the breezeway after the game, and that's the picture that sticks in my mind about that team. Is that
you
picture.
were working it or you were a fan?
I worked it.
Yeah.
I was I had stopped being the beat writer because
Wilner was here.
No, it was a guy named Mike Downs.
Mike Downs, yeah.
Mike Downs, who just did it for that 1 year. He was the backup guy for me the year before. He became the beat writer that year, covered it that 1 year, and then he took that and went and got a job in Hartford. But Mike was the guy. But I was there covering that as the other locker room guy.
Yeah.
So I had to go do a story on that. But I was there for that.
Yeah, 89. I was at USA Today when all that happened, and it was crazy because I thought, they're going to win it. They're going to get to the Final Four, and I'll have this Arizona shit on, and it was.
Oh, my wife just said Clarence Tabb.
That's it.
That was his name. Clarence Tabb was the photographer. Just a lasting photo of that team.
Mm-hmm.
But again, going down memory lane on some of those things. But that 98 team. I mean, you had to argue it should have been better than the 97 team, and it looked like they were. And then, boy, did they just hit the skid in that one game.
Yeah. Would have been the first team to go back to back since Duke did it in 91 and 92. I think it was. But that was a lot of fun. Let's want to talk real quick about something that Dave Rubio said earlier today or yesterday. We talk about all the time.
Right.
That now. In March, we had a couple months. In May, we're thinking, okay, everything's going to be settled. Even in June, we were kind of saying, everything's okay. And then everything just went to...
We've run out of time.
And then that's what he says. It's probably the running out of time. It might be best to play in the spring.
Right. And that's it. I mean, you do think back to March, and we thought, okay, we'll get this all figured out. There'll be football, and there'll be all these other things, and we'll be back in the stadiums and those kinds of things. And, and we butchered it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Right.
We butchered it.
Right.
And when you look at the charts and they show the curve and all that kind of stuff and where we were headed, and then all of a sudden where we are now,
we
butchered the heck out of it. And it's been interesting to see what when you see, for instance, up in Michigan, they got Jim Harbaugh and
Ohio State,
the Michigan State basketball coach.
Oh, Izzo.
Tom Izzo to do television commercials saying, "Put on the mask.
Put on the mask, yeah.
Mask up." And that's that. If we just do that, we can be in the stadiums.
So did you see last night they had auto racing? They had about 20,000 people in the stands.
I didn't see that.
It's about, I think it was maybe the stadium holds 60,000, so they had 20,000, obviously spread out, and we won't know for another couple of weeks how it turns out.
Right, we're not going to know.
We're not going to know.
We're not going to know what that's going to look like, and I'm anxious to, and we can talk about this after the break. I'm anxious to hear where we are at Arizona Stadium. If we're close to planning, to go to games. I mean, look, they're going to announce a schedule, so we know there's going to be a schedule. So what's that going to look like? I'm anxious to know.
Right, they are cashing your checks, probably.
They are.
So we'll talk about this on the other side of the break. Thanks.
We're Tucson's station for local news and talk. 1030 The Voice.
Go local. Make the switch. At Hughes Federal Credit Union, we offer customized solutions and get you what you need faster. Like our quick and easy credit cards and auto loans. All done online from start to finish. Save time using mobile banking, bill pay, mobile deposit, and mobile pay with just a few clicks. Live large, accessing 30,000 plus surcharge-free ATMs and free debit card choices. Make the switch to Hughes today. Visit hughesfcu.org/switch. Certain restrictions apply, insured by NCUA.
Time to update those old kitchen cabinets? Call the Window Depot today. The Window Depot is not only the #1 warehouse for windows and doors, we now have a great selection of kitchen and bath cabinets at Tucson's best prices. The Window Depot is Tucson's top spot for granite and quartz countertops to finish the new kitchen or the replacement of that old worn-out Formica. So call us today at 290-8545 or 622-6430. The Window Depot, windows, doors, granite, and new kitchens.
There's a place in our house. For 70 years, Benjamin Supply has been keeping Tucson flowing. Hygiene is our business. We help you achieve extreme clean. Minimize germ spreading with a hands-free sensor faucet. Forget the paper panic with a washlet seat. And speaking of waterworks, a big thanks to plumbers for their essential efforts during this health crisis. Shop our downtown showroom by appointment. Call us at 777-7000 or see all the products online at benjaminsupply.com. Thanks to Benjamin Plumbing Supply.
Hey, it's Chris from Wake Up Tucson. Join us for the big Friday show. Mark Van Buren's going to count down the top 10 movies of the 1960s. Ed Ackerley will be here with Grant Kruger from Union and Reformer to talk about the Tucson Business Owners Organization and defunding police. And Rocco from Rocco's Little Chicago for Food Friday. Wake Up Tucson.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9 on 1030 The Voice. Trusted local news and talk.
Trusted local news and talk. All day, every day. 1030 The Voice.
Hey, welcome back here to Eye on the Ball on 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera, alongside Jay Gonzales. I know you're probably already over the Danica Patrick, Aaron Rodgers breakup.
Well, she's not my type anyways. She's A, she's a little short. B, she drives too fast.
No, I guess the second one would scare me. Good that you're over that. So you're a ticket holder for U of A football. It's kind of scary right now, obviously, whether you go or you don't go. But they have some decisions to make once the schedule's out in 2 weeks.
Right. They've said there's gonna be a schedule out by the end of July. I'm interested to see what that's going to be. We're not hearing much coming out of there. Although we are going to have Ashley Adamson from the Pac-12 Networks is going to be here on the show on Monday, and I don't know if she's going to have any insight into that. But get a sense of what it's sounding like around the Pac-12. But I'm interested to know is it going to be 10 games? What's the 10th game going to be? Is it? I mean, if it's 10 games, presumably it's going to be another conference game. But how are they going to do that? Who are they going to pick that you're going to play? And then when's it going to start and what's it going to look like? And that's really the big mystery out there.
Right, and you haven't got any word because they don't even know, obviously.
Right, I don't think they know yet. And again, getting back to the press conference that President Robbins had today, they're obviously the priority is how they're going to get students on campus. And he said, they're going to have students on campus. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. What it is just making sure that it's done in a way that everybody is, safe and comfortable. And one of the things that I heard today was that, for instance, it's going to be up to the professors to decide if they want their class to be everybody in the classroom, partially in the classroom, a live, a Zoom type class, or completely online where students can do it. I guess what you would call a traditional online class where students do it whenever they want.
Right.
But they are going to, kids are going to know, I shouldn't call them kids, students are going to know when they sign up for a class, if they're going to class or whatever. So, in my daughter's case, she's going to want to know, if she wants to take all online classes, she's going to know if I want to take this class, but it's going to be, I got to go to the classroom. Well, then I'm not going to take it. I got to take something else.
Right. Well, it's funny because I read the story on Emmert and the NCAA. It kind of shows how they have no teeth in this whole thing. They can guide you, but it's all up to the regular to the school.
Right. The schools and the conferences are in charge.
Right.
And actually, the ones that are in charge, really, they're not. It's not even the athletic directors. It's the presidents of the universities and the chancellors. They're the ones that are in charge of all of this. Because if they can't make it happen on their campus, then there can't be any sports. But I'll just give you the quote that I got from that, and I think it was Dr. Carmona who said this. And he's a medical doctor. He's running the reentry task force. He said, "I think we can pull this off, but it's going to take people following the rules." And because it was in response to a question of what are you going to do with students who come to campus and don't follow the rules. Is there any way you can enforce something like that? Can you kick them off campus if they're caught doing things? And there's certain things you can do. For instance, you can make the fraternities stop having parties because they're on campus and they have to follow campus rules.
Sure.
But how are you going to keep somebody who lives in one of those apartments downtown from not being in a nightclub there or a bar there or something like that, and then coming to campus having been exposed to something?
I think you asked that same question of one of the coaches. I can't remember, maybe the golf coach. I can't remember who, about what happens if these kids who have a lot at stake deviate from their routine.
Right. Do you kick them off the team?
You kick them off the team.
Do you suspend them? Is there some enforcement there? But even if you do that, you're dealing with the guys who are on these teams. What about just Joe Student who's out there doing stuff that's then exposing the athletes?
Right. No, I get it. It's a quandary. And guess what? You're talking about 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, 20, up until whatever. And you remember, you were not that young a long time ago.
I was dumb.
I was so dumb. So you following the rules? Are you following the rules?
Right now?
No. At that time. Would you have?
I can't say.
I don't see that. That's
I really don't know.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah, it is scary because I really don't know because I broke a lot of rules during that time. But
is your daughter listening?
Yeah, I hope. But those rules were more about, they weren't life and death rules, right? I wasn't risking my life.
Sure. And back then you could drink at 18. I think.
Yeah, it was 19.
Yeah,
the drinking age was 19 here at that time. When you broke a rule that maybe was going to get you thrown in jail, or maybe was going to get you in trouble, or maybe you cut classes or whatever. They weren't rules that if you broke a rule, somebody could die.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, you're talking about now. Yeah, no question.
Versus now. So, but I'd like to think that I'd be smart enough to, play by the rules as far as it relates to this. But I can't tell you for sure that I would 100%.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to say because the circumstances are so different.
I mean, I play by the rules now because I'm in the at-risk category, and I'm about to go one more year into it here in a few weeks. But again, one of the interesting things that I heard today was that they're trying to use other students to convince students to play by the rules. Peers, student ambassadors. There's a student group that they try and get them to monitor and change behaviors and stuff like that. And before, it's kind of like things like don't drink, don't smoke, don't text and drive. Now it's like, don't go get the COVID, right?
You put on a mask.
Yeah, wear your mask.
Well, if we could do that with the regular people like us, we'd be good.
Right.
We could beat the COVID, but we don't do that. We're a bunch of selfish guys.
Look, for example, okay, you've got Florida that is surging, one of the hotbeds. They've got cities and towns that are doing, the mandatory masking thing. And then their governor comes out and says, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Masking
is
Georgia
did the
all
same
voluntary.
Thing. Georgia said the same thing. And they're actually suing the Atlanta mayor because that's what she wanted.
But, the guy in Florida, they've got the NBA in their state, and he's saying, well, but you don't have to wear a mask. And we're not going to let anybody make you wear a mask. I mean, what are we doing?
Let me wake up Tom and ask the curmudgeon of the group. You don't have any faith in anybody, do you, Tom?
I do not. You are correct. Steve knows me well. The cynic in me is alive and well. And guys, I have zero faith in anyone to follow these rules. I'll tell you why. Is not only because of what we've seen here in the state of Arizona with all the kids going out to the bars and stuff, and the increase in cases between 20 and 43 is the biggest spike. But I've gone into Lowe's and Home Depot and Costco because, I'm working around the house and doing some things. I walk in there, there's just as many people not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And just out there doing their thing. And some people are just like, coughing out into the middle of the air or sneezing. It's just, come on, man. Like, I don't care if you don't care about yourself. That's fine if you want self-destructive behavior, but when it affects me, that's when I really get just sour about it.
It's not going to get better either.
No.
Because the attitudes need to change.
Well, Walmart is about to institute.
Right.
You have to wear masks. I can hardly wait for those videos to start coming out.
And they're going to put a person at the gate to enforce it?
Of people losing their minds
There was one
over having to wear a mask.
There was one online today. There was a woman who refuses to, because Fry's is doing the same thing, and she says, "I'm not going to do it. I have all these complications. I can't breathe. My kids." But you're probably in the risk group. That means you should do it.
Yes. If you've got those health issues, then you should be wearing a mask.
Without question.
But you can't tell those people that.
No. I hate to go political.
Well, look at this. I don't know if
See, that's not political. It's common sense, though.
Yeah, that's true.
It's do you care about yourself and other people or not? That's that simple.
I don't know if Dave Hickey is listening to us, but we're having this conversation. He just retweeted a Nadia Barnes tweet that says, "Don't be selfish. Wear a mask. Do your part." So,
right.
Hope Dave, if you're listening, we got to get you on here.
Yeah. We've asked him a couple times. We get him next week sometime. But you know what? I think the Izzos and the Harbaughs and the Nadia Barnes, those people can reach an audience that other people can't.
No, we can't.
Yeah,
exactly. And I agree with that. And look, pull out all the stops. We got to get these people and got to put the pressure on, to wear a mask. And
Thomas.
Tom, I'm gonna understand. I forget my kids' names all the time, so don't be hurt by that.
I'm not.
But I went to Costco yesterday for the first time since this all started. I hadn't been to Costco, and I actually was pleased with what I saw.
Because
people were wearing the masks.
They make them,
and I didn't have to take anybody down or run my card into them or anything like that.
Well, they make them, and I have a couple of other friends who say they don't want to wear them, and I can't because I have this medical card, yada yada. I'm thinking it's simple, guys.
It's so easy. I'm sorry, and you know what? You got health workers who are wearing these things 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
To save people's lives. Do your part. Simple as that. Do your dang part so we can have some freaking football.
This all started in mid-February, March. We're here now 5 months later. 5 months later, what are we going to be? Where are we going to be in 5 months?
Right.
We're going to looking at college basketball starting only college or conference games in January. I bet you that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well,
and then now football may not even happen.
Yeah. Well, again, the doctors, Dr. Robbins, Dr. Carmona, say they don't want to diminish, what we have to do and how hard we've got to work at this. But they said there's time. There's time to turn the curve around so that we can do the things that we want to do. But people got to get on their horse and do it.
Mm-hmm.
We can't keep messing around with this. And it's that simple.
Right.
And I want to have football.
Yeah, well, you have golf. Good luck with you.
I'm having fun with golf. Having fun with golf, but I want to have football.
You have basketball. You're gonna Bibby. It's pay-per-view too.
Yeah.
If they want to.
Yeah, let's promo that again. There's a pay-per-view event, Mike Bibby, the 5 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see some live basketball and see some of these guys, hey, go on there and spend a few bucks to give it a look and see how Mike Bibby does. Cheer for him.
He's still got that big body.
Yeah, boy. Looking for a picture of him today, and I kept seeing some of those pictures. Boy, there's a dude who because he was not a big guy.
No. This happened in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, he was not a big guy back then, and in fact, he was pretty slight.
You know what I want to ask him? I didn't ask him about his shoe collection. Have you ever seen his shoe collection?
No,
He's got
but I can only
room
imagine.
It's every kind of Nike shoe you could ever. And they send it to him. I'm thinking.
I can only imagine. You know what? I want to ask him about the movie he was in. There's a movie called Be Cool. It was a John Travolta movie where there was a Lakers Kings game. In an actual game, it's in a scene in the movie.
He had one of the big shots against the Lakers way back in the day.
Yeah, so
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
So
we'll try to get him on at some point again. Maybe after the Big 5 or something like that, or the 5 tournament. Hey, good show today.
All right, good show. Great having Mike Bibby. We appreciate him coming on, and we'll have to do that again.
You're not here tomorrow?
I won't be here tomorrow. I'll try. I'm going to be up in the mountains, but I'll maybe call in if I've got some cell service and spend a couple minutes with you.
Okay, great. Thanks everybody. Thank you, Tom.
Have a good weekend, Steve. It's my Friday.
Your Friday. Yeah,
it is
good
your
luck
Friday.
To you. Thanks, everybody.
KVOI Cortero, AM 1030, the voice of Tucson. Trusted local news and talk. A Bustos media station.